I'm here at my friend Sharon's house, and she's invited me over to have a look at some of the interesting things she has found and collected and made from around the world and different places. So let's see if she's home. Hello, Sharon.
Hey, come on in.
Hi, this is my friend Sharon. Thanks for having me over.
Drone Man.
Drone Man. I'm known as Drone Man in the world of Sharon. So thank you for inviting me into your home and sharing a lot of things that are personal to you, I guess.
Yeah, personal and creative stuff, yeah.
And I guess you consider yourself an artist?
I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I'm always making stuff. I'm happier if I have creative projects going on.
Excellent.
Makes me happy.
Well, I'll just shut up and you can give me a tour.
Okay, well, I have to first put my, well, these are my claws, which I need, of course, having claws. And because I have white hair, a bald eagle mask works really well, you know, if I need costume. And origami dragons are all over the house.
So Sharon makes origami. What is it called? Making, creating, folding,
it's just
manifesting.
It's just doing origami. You know, it's a passion. I teach it. I do it. It's a lot of fun. So
and we're going to do some of that today.
Yeah, we're going to do some. So these owls are from Bali, Indonesia. There's several of them around here. There's one behind the...
And I understand you've been in Bali quite a bit.
I've gone twice for a month at a time. I love it. I love the people, the culture, the spirituality.
It's definitely on my bucket list.
Hey, when you want to go, even though I keep saying I wouldn't go back, but I loved it too much. So these are animals made out of hard-shell gourds. So, you know, this is like just a basic... You know,
it's a vegetable.
Yeah,
you say it's a gourd?
It's a hard-shell gourd. Yeah. They're not edible. But yeah, so there's a frog, there's a bear, there's a couple frogs. Like, you know, cutting up spare parts to you know, make the eyes and painting them and so stuff. I've not been making more gourd animals because the power tools bother my arthritis. You know, vibrating power tools. So gripping the mouse, I grip with my left hand.
Sure.
So yeah, there's origami dragons. There's a lot of alligators around the house. There's one right there.
Any significance to alligators, or just like them?
I'm sure there is a significance to it. I don't know what that is. You know, maybe a psychologist could tell you what that's about.
They are prehistoric reptiles.
They're reptiles. They're like primitive brains. So, but there's more. See, here's another alligator made out of the hard-shell gourds.
Oh, it's also made of a plant.
This is all hard-shell gourds, you know, just cut and glued together, you know, painted. There's another origami dragon. This is another art, you know, paper manipulation. This is kind of hard to do. Weaving these, it's a small one, goldfish.
Oh, it's got the nice glittery paper.
Yeah, glittery paper.
I like your giraffe with his tongue out.
Well, I rescue giraffes. There's a lot of giraffes around here. Here's a giraffe. You know, it's a little kid toy. So origami butterflies.
And real life peacock feathers.
Real life peacock feathers from a real life peacock.
And here's another beautiful giraffe.
Yeah, that one has the interesting story.
Next to this dragonfly popsicle stick.
Well, this is a Japanese, I don't remember the name of it. It balances on a very tiny point.
It sure does.
And it will spin, but there's too much origami in the way to spin well. But there's also a lot of snakes around the house, and this is a felted, it was given to me as a gift, felted, you know, both felted snakes. So these are both from Africa, and so is the big
That's from Africa, huh?
Yeah, this is, I was visiting a friend out in the country, getting a tour of a beautiful old 100-year-old farmhouse, and I wanted to see the outbuildings because I like outbuildings and old funky places. And this was in a relatively new outbuilding with lots of boxes, storage, and sticking up above the boxes was this gorgeous neck, and it was all covered with grime and white bird shit dripping down. You know, and I just said, hey, if you need a home for that giraffe, I would buy it.
What part of Africa?
It's from Zimbabwe. There was a paper with it, you know, saying the kind of wood and from
nice.
Zimbabwe.
I visited Mbosili and not Bahrain, Can't remember the other name of the port now.
Yeah.
Interesting place, big continent.
Well,
Mombasa, that's what I was thinking.
I just love, and it's damaged, but I brought this, and this person was so embarrassed about how filthy it was. So there's lots of toys here. I don't know if your thing can look through these, kaleidoscope
Well,
things.
we can keep going around the room because
Yeah,
there's lots of stuff to see today.
Lots of stuff to see. So, yeah. Well, and actually the lights.
I'm loving the light coming through the window on. Are these all paper?
These are translucent German paper. This is a German paper folding form. It's not technically origami. There's, there's like, 18 or something pieces of paper glued to, folded.
Folded and
together.
cut?
Folded, not cut. Some of them are squares, some of them are rectangles, folded and glued together, and it's a translucent German paper. I can't say the name of the art form in the German word because I'm not very lingual, but it's a German art form.
Very
the paper's
cool.
all from Germany to get that.
Crystal ball with the hummingbird.
Actually, it is a music box I can wind in. I don't recognize the song. My son gave this to me one year. It's
Of course, it's a snowball too.
Of course, yeah. And it's the hummingbirds, He knows,
Excellent.
he knows I love the birds. So I hope I didn't wind it too much for...
Right.
And I have a thing about rocks. I don't know if you can pick up the rocks, but there's very interesting patterns on these rocks in the window. This is petrified wood from Colorado.
Yes, it looks like petrified wood.
It is. I actually have some very interesting... This rock is from Hawaii. It's... I just love that it was round.
Yeah, lava rock for sure.
Lava from Hawaii.
I lived on Oahu for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Well, this is Kauai. I loved Kauai. When the first time I went there, I came back to see how I could live there half the year and live in West Virginia half the year.
There you go.
But what I learned quickly was, if you love Hawaii, you can't move there. What was happening in Hawaii was much more apparent than what was going on in West Virginia, and that is out-of-state people like myself, buying property, buying places. I was camping, and there were homeschool networks in the campgrounds. The school bus stopped at the campgrounds. The local people, just the local working people, were being priced out. And of course, we killed off 85% of them with our diseases, when the white people went there. So
I was known as a haole when I went to Hawaii.
Yeah, really.
Yes, which means non-native white person.
That's right. So here's a gourd dragon, with pieces
another gourd. That's so cool.
Pieces of gourds glued on, for a dragon.
Wow.
So this is origami. These lizards.
Salamander.
Yeah, a lot of pieces are folded differently, and there's no glue. It's all just placed together. This is true origami, like no glue, just folding, assembling things. Here's one of those little fishes. I believe it's a German thing. It's,
Now, of course, origami originates in Japan with a word like origami, right?
Origami is a Japanese word, but it probably originated in China, where paper originated.
That would make sense.
It was originally done just by the aristocracy. That's all who could actually afford paper. So
Here's the joy stone.
Yes.
And here's the peace stone.
And
there's a spider.
And another Hawaii
and
rock.
Spider. And a swan in glass.
Yeah, I actually bought that plate thinking it was a gift for a woman whose name is Swan, and then I realized I love that. I'm keeping it. So, but yeah, so there's interesting things here. There's a lot of owls around my house, by the way. So
I love owls.
Yeah, me too. Here's a gourd owl, a little bit
more gourd.
Yeah, this is this is air dry clay for his little feetsies and his little snoot. And marbles for the eyes,
and they're painted with watercolor or any certain kind of paints, or
no, it's acrylic, so it's real permanent. I can paint, but it's not my main art form. So this is something very special here. So I don't know if you can see this. The person who gave this to me said he carved very little on it. It was just a natural occurring goddess in a piece of root. Wow. So I use it in ritual. As a talking stick. I don't know if you can...
I should have brought some better background lighting, but we're okay. We'll go through this. I'll
Okay.
do the best I can in post-production.
Yeah. Well, and the person who found this actually made this little,
It could be an incense holder or
well, I just have
little-
shells from Florida in it, but yeah.
that looks like a face on that. Is that coral? Shells?
This is coral from Florida, and it's a rattlesnake who rattles. The Job's tears were grown in Greenboro County by a friend of mine.
Nice.
So there's Job's tears on several things, but it's actually a rattle. Just it's a very interesting shape. Hard-shelled gourd. Hard-shelled means it dries. It never was edible. It dries like thin wood. So, and this is a light I rescued from a yard sale. The wiring and everything and the structure was there, but I painted it. And this is shibori dyed cloth because I did dyeing for years, and made
nice.
it into a lamp. So.
Beautiful.
The table was probably the only piece of furniture I took from when I cleaned out my parents' apartment is from Haiti. There's a little table.
wow.
So just a little bit of wood carving.
I've been to the Dominican Republic on the other side of the border, and it's amazing how you cross that borderline, and they're two different worlds.
Two different worlds. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if my parents were in Haiti, but they certainly did cruises, and so yeah. There's a Garuda from Bali, Indonesia, and there's a snake balanced in its mouth. It's just a piece of wood found.
That's very cool.
So he's not eating the snake.
I'm loving the shadow on the ceiling.
Yes, the shadows in here get pretty outrageous. And this is a piece of artwork that I did. It's just using junk jewelry and gluing it up into a bird. So, yeah, the other things are, this is actually a card I found. And it says something very interesting. I do weave. It says one of the advantages of being disorderly is that one is constantly making exciting discoveries. And this is from A.A. Mill, who, I'm just trying to think, what did she write?
What was the name?
A.A.M.I.L. and Mill, M-Mill.
I'm not sure.
Maybe
it's just relative.
It's a kid's stuff.
The relative of E.E. Cummings.
Not relative of E. Cummings, but it was a kid book.
Funny titles.
My mind's kind of a blank. But the other, needle felting that I did up there.
Nice.
This is a card I bought when I was in Russia. It was just a way to buy. A woman was doing watercolor on cards. Just a way to buy a small piece of artwork, So, but yeah. So that's probably the more interesting stuff here. But there are drafts in many forms around my house.
That's kind of a puppeteering giraffe.
Yes, we will get to the puppets.
Oh, we're going to get to puppets. You wait.
Yeah. So that's
Great.
that's interesting.
Well, this is the living room.
This is the living room. Yeah. Oh, there's something interesting. I didn't make these, but because I have made. Well, actually, there are baskets here I have made. So the white oak baskets. There's one here, and one over here behind this unicorn.
You said white oak?
White oak.
So I'm familiar with white oak as being a very strong hardwood tree.
Well, yes.
How do they strand it so thin to make a basket?
Let me turn these claws off here. I cut a tree that had no lower knot holes and limbs and things, and splitting the white oak with a froe. I can show you the tools. They're in the basement.
Okay, great.
Splitting the oak, into splits, basically. Splints as they're called. And so this is a basket that I made. This down here. This is just, an eyeball. I happen to like eyeballs. I have eyeball rocks. I have a collection of them that I find. Another giraffe. I'm just showing you another giraffe.
Nice.
So, and this basket I did not make, but I spotted it in a junk shop, and I paid $5 for this. And this is a really old, this is long needle pines that's done in the southeast U.S., former basketry. It's really well done. The inside is lined with fabric, and the fabric is all kind of decayed. This could be 50 years old, this basket.
Wow.
This is a much newer one, same type of
Look
long
at
needle
the
pines.
intricacy on there.
long needle pines, just pine needles.
Wow.
It's an art form done of basketry, by the local people in the southeast U.S. I can't tell you what state. Yeah, there's a lot of snakes around. So,
All right.
so this rock is from the Greenbrier State Forest. I just thought
It looks like lightning.
to me it looked like a tree,
Right.
and so
Turn it upside down and it's lightning.
yes, it could be. But I love trees and I love rocks, and so this one was from the Greenbrier State Forest. Also, this one I'm not sure if it was there or the Greenbrier River right here in Ronceverte. There's just a lot of another dragon. I bring home rocks.
I have a few myself, and it's always blown me away how trees will grow out of or hold onto rocks
Oh yeah.
with their root systems.
Yeah, no, and I love rocks. So, yeah, there's lots of interesting stuff here. But
All right, what's next?
okay.
So this is your office / no?
No, this was probably supposed to be the master bedroom. However, it's the master. It's the art room. So clean art, as
Even
opposed
better.
to sawdust and really messy stuff. So this was made by Eileen Kramer, who's now either 106 and 108. I lose
Wow.
track.
Is it
Dancer.
macrame?
It's
I mean,
cardboard. She was a dancer. So when I danced with her with the Trillium Performing Arts Collective in the 90s, she was in her late 70s. So she did a lot of gesture and things like this that were to be on stage seen from a distance. Up close, it looks like, you could see that it's just cardboard and fabric glued
And it's
on.
worn as a mask.
Yes, you
So
dance.
I guess there's a headpiece that holds it on or
No, you're holding it.
Oh, okay.
You're holding it, and so it's about gesture and movement
I see.
and costume.
I see.
Because in her late 70s, and she was excellent at that. She danced all around the world. When she was 99, she bought a one-way ticket back to Australia, where she was born and raised. So, and that's where she is now.
Wow. And then flying above it,
Well, that is.
let me come in behind you if I may,
Yeah.
just so I can
A kite.
see this from the front.
This is a kite from Bali, Indonesia, that I brought back. And there's a purple one that's a peacock in the hallway with origami hanging off the bottom. And the origami that was hanging off this, I guess, well, I know where it is. It's in my bedroom. But the origami is hanging over your head. That is 30 pieces of paper. And I don't teach that particular modular origami. It's a little more sensitive to put together. So I teach things that go together and hold together really well. This is a little more sensitive, much harder to do. So, but,
Excellent.
Yeah. So here is an entire snake skin from my wood pile. Even the lower jaw, on
It's
that
a little
mouth.
garter snake.
No, this is black snake.
Is it a black snake?
Black
It's a
snake.
very young black snake.
Yes, they breed out there. I'm really happy to have the snakes around. They eat the rodents.
Yeah, I have them all over my property too. I catch them by hand by the pond.
I don't catch them. I have petted the soft bellies of these snakes. They're incredibly soft and smooth. I like the snakes. Local people will kill snakes and say they kill
Yeah, I love
something
'em.
poisonous. And
I had a snake for
pisses me off.
over 10 years. It's a Burmese python that was 16 feet long, 200 pounds when I rehomed her.
Yeah, right.
You don't believe me?
Oh, no, I believe you. But yeah, right, having one as a pet.
I'm going
Right.
to put evidence of it in this video.
Hey, this is like my idea of a snake, just baby snakes in the woodpile. But this is altered book, without using a template. So it's
And that
imperfect.
folds flat.
It's using a book, took off the backing
I
of a
see.
hardback book and folding every page. And but if you don't mark it ahead of time, when it doesn't line up perfectly, which is okay. I just doing it for fun. So because I did basketry for years, this is made out of hickory bark.
Wow.
Using white oak, and this is hickory inner bark used, for the wrappings. Ignore the dust, But yeah, I taught the white oak basketry when I lived in Braxton County. But yeah, lots of. Here's some of my favorite little origami. Kids don't really like puppets, but it's a talking frog. I got
is.
dust on my face. You guys should clean me off. But tough, I guess. Tough.
Are these silver or pewter bowls? Singing bowls.
Singing bowls.
Excellent. I love them.
This one is just a brass bowl that I like the sound. And this one, the sound is kind of... it might be irritating, I don't know.
No, it's great. I love it.
Okay.
And are they in tune with each other at all?
No, auditory is not my strength. I just like the sounds, you know. Yeah, these are actually...
Is there a neck to it?
Yeah, for these two, they're not technically singing bowls. They're probably from India, but because they're brass, so you just tap it a little bit and then do it.
Oh, get it resonating.
Yeah.
I can do a wet finger on wine glasses and make them sing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So lots of
That's awesome.
Origami, butterflies, cranes, Japanese cranes.
More owls out of gourds.
This is a rattlesnake that needle felting. I did a felting class up there at Augusta Heritage Center.
And behind it is another book.
Yeah, another altered book.
That's cool looking, and it's a star, kind of.
Well, it was meant to be a Jewish star, you know, 6-pointed star, but I was doing it free form by eye, and so it's not perfect. You know, technically you do these things by marking every page first, exactly where the fold goes. But I'm too busy having fun to mark like 400 pages.
And can that still be open and closed, or is it fixed where it's at?
No, it can be closed, but I have it just set up to see, you know, so it can be closed as a book. But it's a little thicker because the pages are folded, so it makes like twice as many pieces of paper in there. So.
There's a salamander.
Yeah, a hard-shelled gourd salamander, you know, like, I stopped using the air-dry clay when I was selling them because more fragile. If you drop it,
Sure, it shatters or turns into powder.
Piece of selenite. It's not quartz, it's selenite.
These are chains or something?
Well, it's meant to just be a snake, but it probably was a necklace or something, you know, just looks like a piece of...
And there's a gourd.
Another, yeah.
Egret? No, not an egret. That would be a...
that was a green heron.
Green heron. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And there's another altered book.
Yes.
There, you know, so...
Look at that.
So, and I don't know if this will pick up. This is a German art form again that I did cutting, folding. It's folded down the middle and then cutting.
So it's symmetric.
And I did it all with the scissors. It's meant to be also done with like a scalpel and get more fine cuts in there, but I don't like the scalper work. But this
is a photograph.
Yes, that is.
I've done stuff like this where you put reverse images of it together, create that symmetry or pattern-like stuff.
Well, it was somebody into the technology stuff, and yeah. See, that's another white oak basket that I made right there. You know, just, you know, it's meant to be a wall-hanging basket. So that my parents, when they're the 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So that would be when, yeah, they lived to be the early 90s. So this is, I want to show you this one. This is done with scalpel. You know what I mean? Not with scissors. And so it's not, you know, taking a piece of paper and doing it all just with a...
Wow.
You know, like a razor scalpel. So and then it had to be folded carefully. So it doesn't fold flat perfectly, but... Yeah.
Amazing. Mr. Bones.
Yeah. For rituals concerning death, good item here. So, yeah, the infinite tools, lots
The
of...
tool shelf.
Origami
All
stuff.
the tools of the trade.
Yeah.
Like real tools.
Yeah, real tools, papers, files. So here's a needle felted frog I did. So, and there's a origami dragonfly. I don't really...
There's an origami dragon.
Yeah, origami dragon, crane, origami snakes. There's origami snakes around. These boxes are just made from calendars. You know, we all have these beautiful calendars. They make wonderful origami boxes. So here's modular origami. this is what I was thinking about demonstrating, because it's 6 pieces of paper, and technically it's a cube, but it goes together really well. No glue, just using folding 6 pieces of paper that are 6-inch square. And so in kids, older kids who can fold carefully can do that. Adults can do it if they can fold carefully. So here's a gourd mouse. He was for sale, and that's why he has a tag. I did a cat too, which I even like better, and the cat sold right away. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a jewelry tree for your earrings, but it's got origami and fun stuff. Just fun stuff. So the butterfly alphabet, those are all photographs of details on butterflies.
Wow. The alphabet and numbers
Yeah, it's a guy
on butterfly wings.
It's a guy who worked, I believe he worked at the in D.C. at the Smithsonian Museum.
Really?
And took pictures of butterfly wings and did alphabets and did stuff.
And you see those amazing photos of moths and butterflies that look like animals or predators or owl eyes as a defense mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another Eileen Kramer. It was very crudely made. It's for a prop, in a dance drama, just a dance performance. So, this you might.
That's a mean-looking one.
You might want to edit this out, but I actually wore this to give out candy at a girlfriend's house on Court Street in Lewisburg, and I was concerned that I would look way too scary, but she said,
No, Halloween you can never look too scary.
Well, I would think you could look too scary, but yeah. So, I showed you the 30-piece origami. This is one that is, different module, but 12 pieces.
Wow.
But kids can do this stuff. They get really excited about it. Like when I do kids' college or something, they'll take home the papers to get all 12 folded because it takes them a lot of time to put it together.
Sure.
So
here's the computer we'll be working on later.
Yeah, with decorating.
Make sure we've got some. We did some repairs here a couple of weeks ago. We're going to check them.
Small crane
and then
card.
another cool window behind a lacy curtain.
Yeah, several different forms of using that German translucent paper. So different art stuff on the wall here. A girlfriend made the collage of fabric.
That's a collage of fabric?
Yes, and beads and things. She's in her 80s, and she said, pick one out that I can keep. So, but she only had certain ones that were up for being given away then.
Right.
So this is dried flowers, pressed and made into. There went some origami.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and I got
You're very gentle moving around this room. I'm like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, and I even forgot.
Here's our
that was
microphone.
there, so.
Hopefully trying to get some good audio for y'all.
So yeah, the giraffes are interesting because they're made out of gourds. The last year I taught the gourd art for kids college. I got so inspired by the creativity of the kids that I made a couple of giraffes, and I looked up symbols, of African symbols from different cultures to paint instead of make them look like a real giraffe. But I never did it because I just like them sitting there together like that. Different gourd parts. This is a rope. Glued on with glue to stiffen it, and yeah, I just like these giraffes sitting there, so they never got.
And is that a glass mosaic frog?
Yes, I didn't do that. A friend who died over 10 years ago did that, and I actually have the cherry wood that was meant to be made into a frame, which never got done, so. I have the strips of wood that just need to be routed, and made into the frame. So this, there's a story behind this lamp. This, an elderly friend who's 86, 87 said this was his grandmother's lamp, and it was rewired. And I asked him recently in an email when it was rewired, and he said 1972. So 50 years ago. This was rewired, but I redid the shade. It was all, shards of fabric. So this is actually paper done with. It's a technique. You can make lamps, and I forgot to show you lamp in the living room that was made that way. But here's some of that paper, you know.
Oh, yes.
So it's the same paper, but you know, just the girlfriend that I learned to do this from learned in California. And she moved here with her family about 20 years ago. Her mother had been born and raised in Charleston, and they moved back as 3 generations of them. They're still here. They're nearby. So it's fun.
A little book collection. Here's some
I like
credentials.
Well, from teaching kids college, you know, it's like, and I tend to, you know, they give us these kids college things. I never use them anywhere else, but one of the kids made this for me, you know, because I have art supplies. You can decorate your origami stuff. It keeps kids busy. You know, the folding is very focused, and so then they can decorate and glue stuff on their things. And somebody actually just took some of their decorations and made this, and we put it on a pin bag, because you can make small origami to put on pins. This is interesting. This I didn't do this, but I do dyeing, and I could actually show you a little bit of stuff I have dyed. This is actually probably done in China. I forgot the name, but there's a Japanese word for this. This is put over outdoors. This is done dyeing, and this is all tied, very intricately tied to get the patterns. But this was probably done in China, and I saw this in a jewelry
All you
shop.
TikTokers doing all that tie-dye out there, eat your heart out. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, so yeah.
And another book. Did we see this one before? I don't think we did.
Altered book. And a girlfriend who lives in Buckingham County, Virginia, made this. You know, it's just from a knothole and glued on, you know, dried things and a little bird and mail it to
Nature makes the best art.
Yeah.
Art is all around us.
Well, and this is a mask I wore one year, and it was fun to wear it because when I would breathe, this would move, you know, like, because of the way the feathers were, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's the art room.
That's the art room, a brief tour of the art room. So,
All right, I guess we're going to go onward to another sector. And here we are this is your bedroom?
Yes, and this is, as you enter the bedroom, here's my, it's the year of the tiger, actually. But I bought this tiger because I thought I was buying it for my younger grandson. It's got a steel frame in it, so you can actually sit on it. I can sit on it. It holds my weight.
Wow.
And the thing is, I like it so much, I'm not giving it to kids.
It's like a tiger chair.
It's a tiger chair.
A riding tiger.
And it's wearing a felted hat that I did some years ago when I was doing some felting stuff. And I have giraffes. They follow me. There's a giraffe. They're friendly, you know. The tiger doesn't eat the giraffe. There's lions who are friends here with giraffes. There's it's a hematite bear.
Oh, I like that stone.
And the bat.
Is that a mineral or a stone, hematite? And is it magnetic? I'm not sure.
We could test it, so I don't know the answer.
Okay, we'll find that out.
We can test it. So
everyone can leave their answer in the comments. Their guess in the comments.
So here's Tara, white Tara. This was made by Tibetan refugees in India, and there's some butterflies flying around and a Sufi heart with wings. Origami made out of one piece of paper. So this is some dried flowers done in another form. So.
Are the flowers intact? Like, do you manicure them or cut them?
I just cut them, you know, from a garden or the weeds. And,
I'm saying to make shapes that you want?
No.
No.
And just press them, and then and some hold color well and some don't. And some are more fragile, and so they get made, the ones that work get made into art stuff. You know, like the shapes, I don't manicure them. They dry the way they are, and I work with what I have. It's part of, it's like a mental challenge to make something beautiful that you can't alter the what you're working with. You know, so, and weaving has that aspect to it also. So these are shadow puppets I made, Warda and Goak, which means raven. So Warda is the first puppet I made the first time I went to Bali, Indonesia, and he, in the shadow puppet plays, He is the trickster, the jokester, and so he would be the only one who would speak English and explain things to the tourists, and also make puns and make fun of the tourists and make fun of the local culture. So Warda was actually a lot of fun. So he is he's wearing a necklace, which is not part of him, but let's see. Let me find the string for his. Here's the string for his mouth right there. So he talks. But he's not talking, so... Cause
He's not talking.
He's not talking today. It's like, he is just not talking. The second time I went to Bali, we found the Puppet Master's place, even though the sign was gone. And he wasn't doing this as a business for tourists anymore. He obviously was, making it financially better. And I realized in that trip that he was a type of a priest doing the shadow puppetry. Is all telling sacred stories in their language, and also in sacred old text, Sanskrit, old form of Sanskrit, and from the Ramayana and other Hindu sacred texts. So, but I asked to do a bird, so this is a goak, and it means raven. It's a raven. So.
This is going to be someone's tattoo.
No.
I'm having issues with shadows. I'm trying to stay away from shadows.
Yeah.
Not me. I mean, not you. It's me.
Yeah, the light's not good in here. This is Saraswati. She's she has 4 arms. This is a Lantar book. This before they had paper in Indonesia. This is just specially treated palm. I want to say fronds, and then they cut with a knife. The design and its charcoal is used in the cuts to act as an ink, and it was used for writing and calendars, and it folds up. It's accordion folds up. But she is the goddess of wisdom and art and beauty. She's holding, this is called a Lantar book. She's holding a Lantar book that's folded up. She's holding a musical instrument. She's holding pearls and a flower for art and beauty. She's the goddess of wisdom. This is Boma, who's nature. She's standing on a pink lotus. There's like a peacock sort of, in the hanger. Actually, she's not hung from the hanger, but that hanger is for hanging fabric from Bali. So, and this is, palm, just cut. They just had just a little short paring knife. And I was actually given that. I was paying for my lunch at a little cafe, and there was a bunch of women sitting on the floor doing something behind them, and I asked what they were doing, and the cashier said, "Well, just go back and look." And I sat down with the women on the floor, and because I'm a weaver, they were weaving baskets for the offerings and doing this cutting, and I just started. They started showing me. Nobody ever spoke English to me. They just showed me what to do, and I was doing the stuff. And one of them gave me this little piece. But they would do it as a whole fan, as a decorative fan. So, but yeah, and
I've had so many trinkets and things like this from my travels to Asia, and a lot of them didn't last. Like your umbrellas, I saw your folding umbrellas, and as long as you store them open, they're good. But you can't store them closed, or mine stuck together. The paper stuck together.
Yeah, that Japanese one in the corner in the other room. Yeah,
they're very fragile, and still blows my mind how they just make them. They're so intricate.
Yeah, very intricately made. So we've got dragons. We've got wind-up toys because I like wind-up toys, and they're not eating. These are all friends, little animals in here. So yeah.
And what are they made out of?
Well, some of them are, there's glass or plastic, there's wood, there's ceramic, there's...
wow, look how tiny that is.
Yeah, these are actually beads, these couple, this one's a little metal.
And they're carved?
Yeah, they're carved. This one was,
I can imagine little scalpels and sandpaper and...
This is actually a stone brought back from a friend in... God, what continent was she on? I was thinking in Italy or Greece or somewhere. It was carved.
Wow.
It's a tiny little cat. But more glass stones that say things. So, but the others are, a lot of them are.
The squirrel looks very porous.
Yeah, this is probably from South America. I'm not sure.
What's the material? It looks like a...
I was given this as a gift because
It's
by a woman
prickly.
by a woman who's gone to every continent, and but yeah, the stones from all over the world, cut, polished. Some of them are not polished.
Look at that beautiful blue heart.
I think
Looks
that
like
is actually glass. This one, I think it's actually
It has the
glass.
effect of tiger's eye.
Well, but it.
And so does that one.
I think these are glass, just the way. This is one of my favorite, the pyrite, egg.
Wow.
So
With crystals in it.
yeah, I think I bought this at Plants Etc. one year. Just way cool. And actually, the woman who owns Plants Etc. brought this back from, I want to say from Greece. Gave it to me. So there's a little Buddha back there. These things are from Russia. When I spent a couple of weeks in Russia 20 years ago. I love the, the painting on the, whatever it is they're doing. And I went to the ballet, which was totally incredible to see. A Russian ballet in Russia, just beyond imagining. So, yeah, lots of stones. This is a finger puppet up here. It's like you're just sitting there. It's like...
Does that lamp work?
Yes, the lamp works. I can turn it on.
Please.
So, yeah, I like lighting. There's lots of interesting lighting in this house. So, yeah. And I also like owls. This was a bracelet.
Who doesn't like owls, right? Owls are so amazing.
Well, I tend to not wear jewelry, but that was in a girlfriend's giveaway, and it's like, my kid used that owl. This was a gift. Eddie Fletcher made
Looks
this.
like a weapon.
Well, it's a snake, because a friend gave it to me who noticed I had snakes in many medium all over the house, so, yeah.
And turtles are cool, too. Who doesn't like turtles?
Well, and this is actually a weathered bone from a sea turtle.
Oh, wow.
I was camping in north of Virginia Beach. You cross the river there.
The Chesapeake?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what the campground was up there. But just hiking in the dunes, I found this, and I didn't know what it was when I found it, but it was, it wasn't until I went to a visitor center, at one of the ranger places in the area out there, and there was one like this in a sand thing for kids to feel things, and I asked the ranger, "What is this?" And I was told it's the rib bone of a green sea turtle. And I had
A lot of times they won't let you keep those because
well,
they're protected.
Yes, I'm sure I stole it out of the, in the dunes of the campground where I was
Right.
camping. Don't report me. So, but I
Statute of limitations, I believe.
Well, yes, this was probably at least 25 years ago.
There you go.
Maybe more.
You're clear.
I'm clear. Thank
You're
you.
clear.
So yeah, this one's a Hawaiian art form. These little shells are just the way the things were weathered, and this was made into a piece of jewelry. So, and there's a bunch. I actually would pick them up. Here's some I just picked up along the beach in Kauai. Same thing. It's just weathered. From the water. Just how it is in Hawaii. So, yeah. Here's another rattlesnake. It's a hard-shelled gourd. With the gourd stem for his tongue. He's a grumpy-looking guy with a few Job's tears. This was like a necklace or something from a junk shop, but I can use it as an arm ornament, when I need a snake wrapped around my arm. You never know when you need these things. So,
That's a big sheep.
yeah, and that's a very unusual gourd that I bought from the gourd farm in must have been Greenville. I was visiting in Greenville, North Carolina, and this was 45-minute drive south at the gourd farm. Because when I was doing my Follow the Drinking Gourd program through Carnegie, I needed 500, 700 gourds, because every kid would paint a gourd shaker after we learned about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad.
So there's a good market for gourds in artistic communities.
Well, there certainly was, There's a Saraswati. I bought that from.
And this is probably, is this wood?
It's wood, and I made the mistake of picking out the dark wood. I think it was just stained because it's a little harder to see the detail, but she's got a few finger puppets on her you know, because this is actually a finger puppet holder. They're all finger puppets. And this finger puppet is wearing a little origami hat that a woman who has become totally addicted to origami made it for me. It's meant to hold papers together like a paper clip, but I have stuck it up there as a hat on the, yeah,
There's a lot going on there.
yeah, there's the origami dragon. Yeah, there's dragons all over the place.
Does that lamp work?
Yes, it's just a touch lamp, you know.
Aha.
Use it at
Look
night.
at it, brings those to life in there.
Yeah. Well, and this quilling spider, I actually traded at the shindig up at Cranberry Glades, maybe, 4 years ago or so. And so it was an opportunity to then try some quilling. You know, we did a trade. This woman made this. So, and I taught some quilling in the Paper Arts Club. But here's an owl. That piece of junk, you know. Just,
An owl purse.
yeah, little, yeah, owls around. So,
And another lovely window.
yeah, several.
We're getting late in the day here, so we're losing daylight, but we'll haul on here.
So this is a marionette.
Let me stand on the other side of you just because we're going to get better lighting.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is a marionette. His name is Scorch, and I was actually given this as a gift from a friend in Buckingham County, and I was playing with him standing here, and he was threatening my cat. You know, he was being, and the cat very slowly reached out a paw and just swatted his face. You know, he started to scorch the cat. You know, like he's going to just burn that cat right up. So they were discussing things, but this is a little marionette that's a frog. And I used this in my Follow the Drinking Gourd program because frogs could explain to kids. Kids will listen to frogs to learn American history. How slaves would follow the creeks and rivers because the water would wash away their scent. The dogs couldn't track them. So most of the puppets in this room actually were not working puppets. They were for my own personal pleasure. So like, you know, there's a unicorn. There's this pink flamingo. It is a professional puppet. The theater.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's about probably 5 feet tall or more. It's weighted, very heavy feet. It's meant to be in a professional theater where you're laying down behind a curtain on top and then operating from above. And I found it in Blacksburg in the YMCA thrift shop. It was just a pile of pink.
And the control handles are up here, which are probably an art in itself to operate.
It's not hard to operate because it's really just feet.
For appendages.
There's not a lot of appendages the way other things are. But she has a younger friend, which I actually found at somebody's yard sale for $3. I remember.
And look, here's another book.
Yeah,
Oh wow, it has a very cool lighting effect as you move.
Yeah, that's
back and
interesting with the
forth.
light.
It reminds me of the underside of the gills of a mushroom.
Well, and this is all done free form. You're supposed to, mark all the pages, but I actually taught this one.
Is there a name for that type of artwork with the books?
It's called altered books. You take a book and you alter it into art. You can, and this type is done with a hardback book. But
Excellent.
so
Cool. So I never saw that type of artwork before.
it's not real common.
I bet.
Because you're ruining a book.
You're right. I was going to say you're sacrificing a book.
Yeah, but there's lots of old books and
Sure.
romance novels make great, three-dimensional ornaments. You got all those pages to fold, and so we got more finger puppets. And here's a 12-piece origami. So this is a girlfriend in Lexington, Virginia. This is just a print. She supports herself doing art. She's a good businesswoman. She has, and I just have, actually I have magnets that she makes that sell for like $5 on my refrigerator. And this is just a print that I bought.
Here is our day out here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Just
day.
another beautiful day, and last day of November? Next to last day of November.
It's the 29th. Tomorrow,
That's crazy.
One more day. So,
Time is flying.
and you got
I'll
to
switch
turn
spots
around.
with you.
Yeah. So So these are hand puppets, and all different kinds of animals and creatures are in here. But we'll just call
So have most of these puppets been performed?
no.
No, just collected.
I play with them. They're not for like my
Public
teaching.
performance or
Yeah, they're
anything
not
like
for
that.
public, but also I'm just mentioning I'm not responsible for what comes out of a puppet's mouth. So, hey, I'm mouthy. Yeah, look in my mouth. Yep. I'm going to be polite though because I'm being filmed. I'm famous now. I'm going to be on YouTube.
All right, we want this to remain G or at least PG.
Yes, PG, like puke guts.
Like puppet
Like
galore.
Puppets
galore.
Yes, puppets galore. Yes. Yeah. I'm kind of shy. I'm not saying anything. Hardly anything.
Maybe related to this one.
Well, yes. We're friends. So, and that's an alligator. And look,
Aha. A rattler with a rattler.
a rattler with a rattler. Yes. Bye. So, yeah, there's a lot of puppets here. So, yeah, I just have a thing about puppets. They're just fun to play with.
There's a lot of characters in here.
A lot of characters. All different kinds of characters.
Yeah, that's a... Trying to figure out if that's a raccoon or
It's a meerkat.
a meerkat.
That's a meerkat. There's an otter. I don't know what
Meerkats
this is.
are also known as, well, they're related to like a prairie dog kind of thing. I know what a meerkat is.
They're out west, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lemur. That's not a puppet, but
That's a real lemur. No.
yeah, it's a real lemur. Just
Lemurs are awesome.
It's got
From Madagascar mostly, I guess.
wire tails, like you could just hang them there. You just kind of hang.
I always wanted to hold a lemur.
Well, you can. You can pet the lemur.
And Madagascar might be on that puppet list, that bucket list as well.
The puppet bucket.
Madagascar is a pretty diverse place.
Yes, it is. Well, see, here's another alligator.
That's a rolligator.
It's a rolligator. It's actually a pull toy, which I thought I was getting for my grandkids, and I thought, no. I mean,
It's mine.
actually, it's not making lots of noise here, but yeah. So
Is
yeah.
that a huge origami star, or is that a sculpture of sorts up below the beautiful blue bird?
That is a lamp. So let me turn it on.
Oh, we have more light.
More light. It's a. Let's see. Did it turn on? Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, look at the cobwebs. Yeah. I use that as my light if I want a light on, before I get in bed. So the mask is from Bali. So there's actually 3 masks in this room from Bali. There's the frog up there, and
The one up behind it.
I don't know if you can see him in the.
So far, we're doing pretty good with lighting.
Yeah.
Mother Nature's helping us out.
Yes, a sunny day helps. So. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do have to meet this guy down here. So this bear is going to sing here in a minute when I push this button. It was my friend's mother's. The mother's still alive. She's in her 90s. But it stopped working, and so it was given to me. Well, there was a little Velcro thing in the back, and then a little zipper compartment, and then a little plastic. Anyway, all it needed was batteries.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way.
I hope that's not going to throw us into a copyright infringement on YouTube. But
It might.
right, what is that song from? Not. I'm thinking.
Gosh, my mind's a blank. It's that musical with
Oh, what's a beautiful day.
The hills are alive with
Right, with the sound of music. The sound of music. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
All right.
So it just needed batteries, and it's like.
And it works.
And it
It needed to come home to Sharon.
Yeah, I just definitely like it. So we've done a kind of a quick tour of things around here, but there's also the basement, which is very interesting.
And I have not seen the basement yet.
Yes, well,
I think we shall proceed to the basement.
yes. And the basement, because you thought the basement was boring, but this basement is all studio space, and you can't even the hall even into the basement is very interesting.
Great, let's go.
We're heading into the basement. So the first thing is this mobile that I made some years ago, origami dragons in it, and painted things, and it's painted on both sides. So if we can get it to spin, you might be tall enough to make it spin. So there's something on the back of the dragon and on the back of the owl. So there's another dragon, and we gotta get the top dragon needs to move too. So.
I see. Let's use the camera.
Okay, the top dragon. You know, I might have to get a broom here.
Here, I was able to do it with human breath.
Okay, there it goes. So there's a unicorn on the back of the dragon.
Oh, I see.
So,
I'm going to see if I can get the camera higher to see it.
all right, I'll get out of your way. Yeah, unicorn and owl and two dragons. Because dragons are my friends.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
I like dragons.
This is from Thailand. I did not go there, but a friend actually danced in Thailand.
I've been there several times.
Yeah, you talked about it. I loved it.
One of my favorite foods in the whole world for sure.
Oh, yeah, good food. I have to turn on some lights so you can see here. So this is a rock shelf, and I can put on more light. If,
The more light, the better in the basement, I believe. There you go.
So we've got more lights here we can put on. So I love rocks. These rocks are from many continents, many states in the United States. You know, the Amazonite is just from Virginia, Amethyst County. You know, this is Colorado. This is Amethyst County. You know, just really cool stuff here. So more Amazonite. This rock I actually carved. I'm going to show this to you. Actually, this rock carving on the front porch. We didn't even get into the rock carving on the. So a little turtle. You know, it's meant to be like for a candle or something. But so, and this is West Virginia rocks. You know,
With fossils in them.
yeah, it's this stuff you can find it in my backyard. It's
So
certain.
this is a West Virginia fossil that proves that West Virginia was once underwater.
Yeah, well, this is coral. This is fossilized coral. There's a lot of really cool fossils
Oh, very
here.
cool.
This is Hawaii, or
Yeah, cool.
probably actually Florida. But lots of cool fossils here. So
This almost looks like lava stone.
it's fossils,
Right.
you know. The pottery is that's actually a piece of pottery from Italy I found, I'm sure, in the junk shop. It's because I did clay for many years, and that is actually a very cool technique it's a terracotta clay, which I love, and putting a white slip on it and then carving through it. And there's an Italian word for the art form of doing this. I just found it in a junk shop, you know. This is from Hawaii, I found on the beach, and
It looks like a bone.
Well, to me it looks like a turtle.
Right, but you know what it looks like to me? Almost as a vertebrae of a large fish.
Well, I think it's just...
But it doesn't have the bone texture to it. Yeah, it's a hand from this direction.
Yeah. So...
I have some cool things from Hawaii I want to share with you.
Oh, I'd love to see them. So there's some wood up here. Like this is actually a piece of wood from
Wow.
Lake Ontario.
Doesn't that look like stone?
Yeah, it's a piece of wood. There's another piece of wood.
From
There's
Ontario?
another Lake Ontario, all three of
Lake
them.
Ontario.
You know, very on the
Very cool
American
patterns
side.
in here.
Yeah, and these are small ones. I have a bigger one on the front porch. We could actually go out there and add to the really cool rocks.
Some
here.
shiny stuff.
All kinds of shiny stuff.
This one has spots.
This is actually should not have been taken. It was taken out of a cave in West Virginia. You know, so it's the same kind of coral, but you shouldn't take stuff out of caves.
Right.
You know. So, and this is the same.
This looks like very dragon-like.
Just a piece of that was
Driftwood?
Lake Ontario. Again, I was picking up
So
stuff up
driftwood?
there. Yes, piece of
Yeah,
driftwood.
I love driftwood.
The piece of driftwood behind. This is from a man sitting on the curb in Bali, in Ubud, Bali, was carving rocks, and I bought that rock from him for a couple bucks, and I did some rock carving with him because. You know, I've done rock carving and it was just fun. And he charged me a couple bucks for the rock I was carving. I can show it to you. It's outside also. We could add to it. The piece of wood behind it is from the West Coast when they were harvesting redwoods
Wow.
in the 70s.
Another thing I'd love to see. I want to see those huge trees.
Well, and there's incredible driftwood from the redwoods, you know, in the river. I can't even tell you what river I was hiking along, and I just picked up a few small pieces. There's one in the bedroom. I didn't show you, point out either, but and these rocks are just
Round and smooth and colorful.
and they're just right here in Greenbrier County.
Wow, they look like they're a matched set.
Well, I just picked them up, and I just, you know, I love the color.
From
and
the same area
patterns.
or over
yeah,
time? Yeah,
all from the same area. You know, I just.
you can tell. They're a family.
The very corner one is Ohio, a type of geode thing, you know, just broken open. So, you know, I like round, just plain round rocks. I mean, that's probably just the Greenbrier River here at Rochefort, the round one up there. So, yeah, this is a rock from outside of Fairmont, West Virginia, on my son's property up there. It was just up on the mountain, and it was a certain layer. I don't even know what they
Right,
are.
it looks like it was liquefied at one point and dried.
And this one is wood too. See,
Right.
these are this is rock too. These three are wood, and these two are rock. But they all have those patterns, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Geology.
Yeah, geology for sure. See, here's wood.
Yeah, that's a cool looking piece of wood.
Yeah, cool looking piece of wood.
There's so many, like as you move the camera, you see different shapes, or like this looks like an arm to me and some kind of ogre bending over.
Yeah, way cool. So that's this rock shelf. A woman that I know in Lewisburg does an art form, a Japanese art form of presenting rocks, you know, natural found rocks, the way they actually look in nature, but they it's a very it's an art form of presenting rocks, you know, like in a sand base to hold the rock up, and she's had rocks in books on this art form.
Excellent. Published rocks.
Published rocks, and this was a rock shelf she wasn't using, and she offered it to me. And then when she came here and visited and saw what I did with it, she said, "Oh my God, I want my shelf back."
I was going to say she wants it back.
Yeah, but she does. Her home is all presentation of rocks all over the place, you know. So, but yeah, around the corner here is I can turn lights on for this drug room.
Now look at this thing. A loom.
Yeah, this is a loom for weaving rugs. It was made in the 1930s. It took me over a year to find a good rug loom. Knew they cost like over $5,000. I paid like $300 or $400.
Really? And you're making stuff with this, or?
Right now, this is a warp that's been, there's no warp on it in terms of. These are the heddles. So because it's a 4-heddle loom, it means I can do patterns, not just over under. I can do different kinds of twills and patterns, and then it's threaded through the reed, and then I can tie on a new warp here if I want to use the same, threads per inch. I have more reeds that can be more or less threads per inch.
Amazing.
And I can show you rugs I have woven. I happen to like rugs, so there's rugs from a lot of sources here. But what's interesting about this loom, so right here, it's just been, was an inexpensive loom back in the 1930s. It's Shuttlecraft practical loom. This was for like women who, and during the Depression, cutting up old fabric and weaving rag rugs and, trying to make some money. It's very sturdy. I can weave under a tremendous amount of pressure, tension to, weave good strong rugs. But it's not fancy the way it's made. So.
And I guess different kind of fabrics can be used.
Well, this is all cotton, 100% can't speak. Cotton carpet warp. And this type
Warp
of
is that's the name of the material?
this is the warp.
Okay.
The warp are the vertical threads. The horizontal is the weft. Okay, just a
See
little
that?
bit of basic language here. So, but it's very sturdy, very well made, even though it's made to not be a fancy loom. You can buy,
Right.
I did have another loom for weaving everything else, whether silk or whatever you want, but this is just for weaving
Amazing.
rugs, just the way.
And I take it that you heat your home with firewood.
Why do you think that?
Unless you're going to get into whittling anytime soon.
Well, I do that too, but
There's more firewood out here. And
yeah, more window stars. So yeah, no, I heat with wood. I like having all the winter's wood in ahead of time.
yes, that's
But
the
it's
goal.
still a little too green. It's hard.
Tomorrow I will be harvesting and processing firewood.
Yeah. So, and this stove is an old King stove. It has a metal box around it to make it look like a gas stove, make it look really ugly. But
It's got a steel stove inside.
yeah. So it's
There you go.
inside. And the interesting thing about it is inside here, what this allows, and why I've had this for over 25 years, is there's like a coil that I guess is heat sensitive, so you can set this like on low or high, and if the fire gets too hot, it
Draws heat away.
shuts the air down. Slowly shuts
Okay.
the air down. If a fire's too cool, it's opening the air. So you don't have to tend it all the time. If you've got the right, wood. I mean, my wood's on the green side, so
Yeah.
I'm not tending it too much.
I've been heating with firewood for 25 years.
You have been?
Yes, even when I lived up north.
Yeah.
Even though I had oil heating in my house, I had a wood burning stove in my basement and heated the whole house and saved me thousands of dollars on oil.
Well, I don't have a real backup system, so actually I'm going to just turn off that other light here. So
And that's the basement.
this is actually half the basement. There's
We get more basement.
There is more basement. There's a room that was my dye studio. I didn't show you dyed stuff that I've done. There's some in the bedroom. The rest of the room basement is more basement-like, although it's all finished rooms. There's a bedroom that was my son's when he was a teenager, but then it was a dye studio for a while. Storage, all kinds of basement-y stuff.
Excellent.
So.
And then what's next? Macrame?
No. Actually, I wanted to show you some dyeing stuff, which
Okay.
is dyed stuff. which is
Upstairs?
in the bedroom, yeah.
What have you got to show us now?
Well, this is shibori. So it's a Japanese tie-dye. Shibori is a Japanese word that means tie-dye. So, and this is cotton, so it's a lot cruder than I can show you silk too. So it's pole wrapped with like a heavy thread on a pole, and the dyes are applied, and so it's a type of tie-dye. But I did this for years. I would sell to Studio 40 and a couple places in Virginia. Tamarack bought for me.
Very
So-
cool pattern.
Well, it makes cool patterns. So this is a charmeuse silk, nice heavy silk scarf. Our American culture is not really a scarf culture. I don't know if you can see this in this light. This is more, the ones I've kept are more subtle. It's kind of the greens and blues pattern. But you can see this is from, it's like you're wrapping thread around stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, there's and this one is done with when I learned to do this from some friends up in Elkins in the 90s, they did one more technique that I don't do, and that is if you use something, it's kind of like ammonia, it has that bad kind of smell, it takes out dye, it acts kind of like a
Well, it
bleach.
gives you a mellower color or softer colors.
It gives another dimension, and so this one was done with that, but I choose to not do, so it takes out it does this kind of,
Yeah. Can you hold it up, please? Because the light coming in the window really made it look
yeah,
translucent and kind of neat.
yeah, let me hold it up here. Oops.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So yeah, so this is when I was learning to do it, but I don't do that extra technique, even though it adds a whole really cool dimension to it. But yeah, it was really cool. And
See that, America? You should get more into scarves. Become a scarf culture, and you can have cool stuff like this. I know America loves tie-dye T-shirts.
Well, American tie-dye is actually very different style. It uses a lot of primary colors.
Sure.
You know, Japanese is much more subtle use of color and design, and I actually dyed kimono wraps too. They sold really well.
They're beautiful. They look like they have lights in them.
Well, it's a really cool technique, and this is a, you know, like a heavy silk. So when I stopped doing it, even Tamarack said if I wanted to do it, let them know. They would continue to buy from me because the stuff sold well. It was becoming too successful of a business, you know.
Oh, really? Too much work. Too much time.
More work than I wanted to do. I was
Right.
doing it for fun and making a lot of money doing it, you know. But yeah, so the last couple of years I did it, you know, I just filled orders and then I told places I'm not doing it anymore. So that's
And then when
tough.
you come back, your price can go up.
Well, I've not gone back, you know. It's
Okay.
like money has never been a motivation.
Right. I'd much rather have time than money.
You know, money's grease on the wheel.
Right.
Money, it makes things flow really well. You know, like you need it, but it's not going to make you happy.
There you go.
That's just the bottom line. Well, we're about to do some origami here, so if you don't have anything to do, do origami. It's just a very good thing to do with your mind and your hands rather than watch a stupid screen, okay? So, here we go. We're gonna make a crane.
And there, right there, my friends, is the look of satisfaction and accomplishment.
So, you know, he's
That's
a little...
great. It took you less than 4 minutes.
He's a little funky looking here, the way it's pulled out, but...
That's all right. Maybe you're under pressure with all these cameras.
Yes, under pressure with all the cameras, but there's a
Oh,
crane.
that's awesome. There's a crane.
Traditional This is a traditional Japanese ancient. Nobody knows who invented it.
And is that one mine?
Is it what?
Is it mine?
Yes, it's yours.
Ah, thank you.
There are
Well, you
cranes.
offered something up, so I figured this would be the perfect one. And I can probably find a nice center point on it to put a little thread and hang it from my ceiling.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing that for us and for me and for inviting me and the rest of the world into your home and sharing all that wonderful art and experiences and travels. There's a couple things I want to share with you just in common with what you showed me. So there's a couple similar threads there between us, which is awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, my friend Sharon, thank you kindly.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, let's...
Did it take 4 minutes?